The question that I get asked rather often is how can I get my spouse sober, or how can I get my loved one sober? Hey, how you doing? My name's Tom Conrad. I'm the host of Real Recovery Talk podcast. I wanted to put a video out today because I get asked this question quite a bit. So I figured let me record a video. That way, when I get asked this question, I can just refer to the video. It makes things a lot easier. The question that I get asked rather often is how can I get my spouse sober, or how can I get my loved one sober? And that can translate to either your children, your spouse, your loved one in general. It can be anybody within your family unit, a dear friend of yours, whatever the case is. So for this video and its purposes, I'm just going to be saying loved one, but know that it references many people. So the first thing that I want you to understand is I like to call it the 3 C's. The 3 C's basically stands for you didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it. Basically, that breaks down into a bunch of different little phrases and things that we can discuss and have conversation upon. But first thing is, you didn't cause it, meaning your loved one isn't an alcoholic because of what you did or did not do. So we need to just totally erase that out of our mind. You can't control it because no matter how bad or how hard you want to try and control the situation, you're not going to be able to. And when you can come to that realization, things become a lot easier for you. You can't cure it because you're not God. You are not a scientist that is coming up with breaking research on how to cure alcoholism. You're not going to be able to cure it. And oftentimes, because you want to cure it so bad, it will cause you to do things that you otherwise wouldn't do or shouldn't do. The second point that I would like to bring up is boundaries, having proper boundaries, not only with yourself, but with your loved one. Boundaries can look like many different things, and depending on where you are in the scale of their alcoholism, would probably reflect what sets of boundaries I would be putting in place. If you're just finding out that the alcoholism is potentially a new problem and it's really just now starting to appear, the boundaries may not be as intense because they don't need to be. You may just need to have a conversation with your loved one about the things that you're picking up on. But if it's somebody that you've noticed the alcoholism has gotten substantially worse over time and the destruction is becoming more apparent, then the boundaries in and of themselves probably need to be more tough. I work with families all the time that are all over this scale. Some, all it takes is a simple conversation and their loved one will go to treatment, they'll get involved in some sort of support program, whatever the case is. Other times, family members have been down this road hundreds of times and they don't know what to do anymore, but through conversation I find out that they're still paying their car payment, they're still letting them live underneath their roof, they're still doing this, they're still doing that. So when I say setting boundaries, that's exactly what it means. Come to an understanding of the things that you are willing to put in place to ensure that you're not going to enable their behavior. Now, when I say setting boundaries with yourself, basically what I'm saying is do not set boundaries that you are not willing to uphold. Oftentimes, I hear parents and loved ones or whoever say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to stop paying their cell phone. I'm going to tell them that I'm going to take the kids away, or they're not going to be able to see the kids anymore. And lo and behold, when rubber meets the road, they're not willing to uphold those boundaries. And if you do that, now you're just being taken for a fool, and an addict and an alcoholic senses weakness, and they will take advantage of that. So make sure you set boundaries with yourself and with them. The next thing I would encourage you to do is find some sort of support group. That can mean many different things. I oftentimes like to reference people to Al-Anon. Al-Anon is a great program. It helps families and loved ones across the world. It's been proven. So you could get or become a part of that. You could go to your church and try and find something within your church, some sort of support group there, whether it's Celebrate Recovery, Believers in Recovery, whatever the case is, just find something. If you're part of a mom's group or whatever the case is, or a husband's group or whatever, a men's group, get involved with them because chances are they have been in a situation like yours, and hopefully they've navigated through it. And they can help you navigate through the situation that you're currently in. You cannot go through this process alone. Just like the addict and the alcoholic can't go through and get into sobriety and recovery on their own, you can't navigate the situation on your own, so you need to find proper support. The next thing I'm going to say is educate yourself. There's plenty of books. There's plenty of literature. There's plenty of podcasts. Real Recovery Talk would be a good place to start. Educate yourself on addiction, on alcoholism. That way you kind of have a better understanding as to what you're contending with. It could be very tricky. There's a lot of twists and turns that can happen. But if you have an overall good education on what you're dealing with, when it comes time to make a decision on what the right thing to do versus the wrong thing to do, you'll know what to do because you're educated on it. The last thing that I'm gonna say is you have to let go. Oftentimes, people get so wrapped up, they get so emotional when it comes to their loved one's addiction, their alcoholism. It drives them absolutely crazy and they make terrible decisions based off of emotion. You have to let go. You have to understand, and we're going to revert back to the very first thing I said, the 3 C's. You can't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it. Remember that. So when I say let go, implement your boundaries. Educate yourself as best you can. Surround yourself with people that have been through this before and know that you cannot control the outcome no matter how hard you try. This is about figuring out the things that you can do personally to help your loved one get the help that they need. Oftentimes, families and loved ones, they say to me, Tom, why can't they just quit? Tom, they see the destruction that they're causing in their life and everybody else's life. Tom, I don't understand. It's not about understanding. It's not about all of those things. It's about what you can do on a personal level to help the situation. A lot of times, parents and loved ones don't want to look at themselves because they'll look at the addict, they'll look at the alcoholic, and they'll say, they did this, they did that. It's their fault. If they fix this, everything will be okay. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. In the end, if you have any questions or you want guidance or you want somebody to come alongside you to help you navigate this situation, you can reach out to us. You can email us info@realrecoverytalk.com. We'll navigate the situation for you or with you. You could go to realrecoverytalk.com. That's our website. You could find our podcast on all the major podcast players. You could go on YouTube. We're on there. Hundreds of episodes of content all around addiction and alcoholism. And don't be afraid to reach out to us. There's nothing that we probably haven't seen or experienced ourselves, and we're going to give you the best education from our perspective, the best advice to help you with your situation. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found value in it. If you did, please share it with somebody else, and I'll see you later.